The starship Eclipse was a relic of the Galactic Union's golden age, a hulking mass of rusted metal and flickering lights drifting aimlessly in the void of space. It had been abandoned for centuries, a forgotten relic of a war long past. But deep within its labyrinthine corridors, something stirred. Captain Jax Orion, a human scavenger with a reputation for finding value in the most derelict of places, stood in the dimly lit cargo bay of his own ship, the Starblade. His crew, a motley assortment of humans and aliens, were busy unloading the meager spoils of their latest haul. Jax, however, was distracted. His eyes were fixed on a holographic map projected from his wristcom, a map that showed the Eclipse's location. "Captain," said Zura, his first mate and a Zorlak with shimmering blue scales, "we've got enough scrap to keep us going for a few months. Why risk it with that derelict? It's probably picked clean by now." Jax smirked. "Call a hunch, Zura. Something about that ship, it's calling to me." Zara rolled her multifaceted eyes. "It's probably calling you to your death. But fine, let's indulge your suicidal tendencies." The Starblade docked with the Eclipse, and Jax led a small team into the derelict ship. The air was stale, the gravity generators barely functional, and the walls were lined with moss-like growths that seemed to pulse faintly in the darkness. Jax's flashlight cut through the gloom as they moved deeper into the ship. "Captain," said Rin, the team's engineer, a squat alien with 4 arms and a knack for fixing anything. "This place gives me the creeps. Can we hurry this up?" "Relax," Jax said, though he couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. "We'll be in and out in no time." They reached the ship's central core, a massive chamber filled with dormant machinery and flickering control panels. Jax's flashlight swept across the room, and that's when he saw it, a cryopod partially buried under debris. The glass was fogged, but he could make out a figure inside. "Over here," Jax called, rushing to the pod. He cleared away the debris and wiped the glass clean. Inside was an alien unlike any he'd ever seen. Her skin was a deep, iridescent purple, her hair a cascade of silver threads that seemed to glow faintly. Her eyes were closed, but as Jax leaned closer, they snapped open, piercing, golden orbs that locked onto his. The pod hissed as it depressurized, and the alien sat up, gasping for air. She looked around wildly before her gaze settled on Jax. Her voice was soft, almost melodic, but there was an edge of desperation to it. "Human, can you get me out from the back? I'll be your alien slave forever." Jax blinked. "A what?" The alien climbed out of the pod, her movements graceful but unsteady. She was taller than Jax, her limbs long and slender, and she wore a tattered suit that looked like it had once been regal. She grabbed his arm, her grip surprisingly strong. "Please," she said, her golden eyes pleading. "I've been trapped here for centuries. I'll do anything, if you help me escape." Jax exchanged a glance with Zara, who shrugged. "Your call, Captain." Jax turned back to the alien. "All right, let's get you out of here. But we're not making any deals about slavery. Got it? You're free to go once we're back on my ship." The alien nodded, though her expression was unreadable. "Thank you, human. My name is Lyra." The journey back to the Starblade was tense. Lyra moved like a shadow, her eyes constantly scanning their surroundings. She didn't speak much, but Jax could feel her watching him. When they finally reached the ship, she seemed to relax slightly, though she still kept her distance from the rest of the crew. Once they were underway, Jax found Lyra in the ship's observation deck, staring out at the stars. He handed her a cup of coffee, something she'd never seen before but seemed to enjoy, and sat down beside her. "So," he said, "care to explain what you were doing on that ship?" Lyra hesitated, her fingers tightening around the cup. "I was a prisoner. My people, the Iltheri, were at war with the Galactic Union. I was captured and put into stasis as a bargaining chip. But the war ended, and I was forgotten. Jax frowned. That was over 300 years ago. You've been in that pod all this time. She nodded. Time means little in stasis. But the moment I woke up, I knew I had to escape. And then you came. Jax leaned back, studying her. You said you'd be my slave. What? Lyra's gaze dropped. Desperation. I have nothing, no one. My people are gone, my world destroyed. I thought, if I offer myself, you might help me. Jax shook his head. You don't have to do that. You're free, Lyra. You can stay with us, or we can drop you off somewhere safe. Your choice. For the first time, Lyra smiled. It was a small, fragile thing, but it lit up her face. Thank you, Jax. You're different from the humans I've heard about. Jax chuckled. Yeah, well, don't believe everything you hear. Over the next few weeks, Lyra became a part of the crew. She proved to be a quick learner, adapting to life on the Starblade with ease. She had a knack for languages and soon became the ship's translator, helping them navigate through alien markets and negotiate deals. But Jax could tell there was something she wasn't telling him, something about her past that she kept hidden. One night, as they were preparing to enter hyperspace, Lyra approached Jax on the bridge. Her expression was serious, her golden eyes filled with resolve. Jax, she said, there's something you need to know. He turned to her, raising an eyebrow. What is it? Lyra took a deep breath. I wasn't just a prisoner on that ship. I was a weapon. The EL theory engineered me to be a living weapon, capable of destroying entire fleets. That's why the Union wanted me. Not as a bargaining chip, but as a tool. Jax stared at her, his mind racing. Are you saying you're dangerous? Not to you, Lyra said quickly. But if the Union finds out I'm alive, they'll come for me. And they won't stop until they have me. Jax crossed his arms, his expression hardening. Then we'll make sure they don't find you. Lyra shook her head. You don't understand. They'll destroy anyone who gets in their way. I can't let you risk your lives for me. Jax stepped closer, placing a hand on her shoulder. Listen to me, Lyra. You're not a weapon. You're a person, and you're part of this crew now. We protect our own. Tears welled up in Lyra's eyes, but she didn't argue. Instead, she nodded, a silent acknowledgement of the bond that had formed between them. The Union did come, as Lyra had feared. Their ships appeared on the Starblade sensors one day, a fleet of sleek, deadly vessels closing in fast. Jax ordered the crew to prepare for battle, but they were outgunned and outnumbered. As the Union ships opened fire, Lyra made her decision. She turned to Jax, her expression resolute. I have to do this. It's the only way to protect you. Before he could stop her, she activated a hidden device on her wrist. Her body began to glow, a radiant energy emanating from her as she stepped into the airlock. Lyra, no, Jax shouted, but it was too late. She launched herself into space, her form expanding into a massive, luminous entity that dwarfed the Union fleet. With a single, devastating burst of energy, she destroyed the ships, leaving nothing but debris in her wake.